I don't know why you keep elbowing me like that. It's super fucking rude.
It's, I don't know.
You know what? I just wanted to pet your pet mouse.
Yoo-hoo! Welcome back.
Horse in Room 6.
Horse in Room 6. Episode 4.
Episode 4. I can't even believe we're at episode 4 already.
I can't either.
It's really exciting.
We are very proud and very happy. And you are 32 years old.
I'm 32
oh my God.
now, y'all. As of 1 day ago. So we apologize for our episode being a day late. But it was my birthday.
Shame.
Well, I don't feel bad one bit.
Well, did you have a good birthday?
It was you know what? It was a really great birthday. Started with toaster strudels with candles in it.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was birthday brunch. Then there was lake times. There was
cake
on a
breakfast
lake.
That day.
It was a lot of breakfast foods. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? There was some mild panic because on the way to the remote lake we were going out to, Lauren may or may not have forgotten to put enough gas in her vehicle.
Yeah, we went to a very remote lake, and so my mom always told me to keep half a tank of gas in your car at all times, which I normally follow, but I did not this time, so I was really mad at myself.
Which was funny because we even stopped at a gas station for chips.
We did. We stopped for chips. You got Doritos 3D.
I got Doritos 3D Spicy Ranch, which I just found disappointing because they felt like holeless bugles.
First of all, that was a thing, I think, in the early 2000s or
I thought they
90s.
were new.
No, they're not. I guess they brought them back, but that was a thing. I didn't want to.
I thought it was a fresh new product.
You discovered it. You're the first one to discover Doritos 3D.
I thought I was the coolest kid in Sunday school.
At first, when you brought those in, and I heard the crunching, I was like, what are they? Oh, it was like, Doritos 3D. And I thought they were plain. And I was like, this is not.
I'm not a nightmare person. Oh, my God.
Friendship, if this is the thing.
If I was able to find plain, crunchy, air-filled Doritos.
Oh, I would kick you out of the
push
car.
Me off a cliff.
Yeah, I would bitch and ditch you.
Bitch and ditch, absolutely. Shove me off a cliff. I don't care.
I would. Yeah, I would do you a favor. I'd like, there's nothing left in this world for you.
Your life is already a nightmare, clearly, in the hellscape of your mind because you just bought plain, extra crunchy, air-filled Doritos.
Yeah.
So let's be grateful that didn't happen.
When we were driving out to this remote lake with my car rattling around
it was a rough road.
It was really rough. I just have, junk all in my car. It's just like, jiggling around. You were a great sport, but I think we were listening to Nappy Roots. It's going to be a good day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I looked down.
And then Lauren looked down and was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no. We were blaring it, like high school style.
It was a good day.
And it was, you're right. Until Lauren looked down and went, no. It was like the zoom in when you panic.
Oh, yeah.
And right when I looked down, I was like, guys, we're going to run out of gas. And then the light went on immediately. I was like, fuck.
And mind you, we were still like probably 4-ish miles away from this, again, quite remote lake.
Yeah.
Far away from gas stations. But you know what? Bless you. You were a good sport.
I had a temper tantrum for a little bit. I had a little meltdown.
You were a little quiet and cranky.
It was,
But
it
you
was
were
minor.
real nice. You were like, you were a little stressed, but we made it to the lake.
I think I just really wanted to make sure you had a good birthday and you didn't cry on your birthday.
Turns out, first time in 12 years I have not cried on my birthday. So, thank you.
Woohoo! I almost did. I almost cried on your birthday, but I didn't do it.
I was very proud of you.
Clea ate lake cake.
I did.
Which I thought was real gnarly, but it's a thing now. # lake cake.
I wasn't mad about it. We had some inflatable kayaks, and my friend Carolisa had brought a cake.
She was so cute. She put little jelly beans in the cake. She's
up
the
real
best.
Fun. She's like, should we take it out on the lake? And I don't have plates or a knife or anything. I was like, fuck it, bring it on the lake. We'll eat it with our hands. So we did, and it was magical.
She was the cutest thing. She's always prepared. She had a life jacket with a whistle on it.
Oh, she was ready. Yeah.
We were like, you don't need that. And then she just got in the lake and started swimming around. It was amazing.
Yeah.
She's like a little nymph.
Yeah, she's like a water nymph.
Water nymph.
Fully true.
So, but
yeah. So who are we interviewing today on this episode, Lauren?
We are interviewing my friend Mary Pat from New Orleans. We used to work together, and her mother.
Dude, this is a great.
It's
a really great episode.
It's a really, really good episode. It was hard to even edit it, cut out some things, which the ones that we did cut out, we'll put on the website. But it's amazing. She is full of advice. This is the first interview we've done with women.
Finally got some gals on here.
We got some gals. Oh my God, it's so great. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm really excited
but they're
about this
super
one.
entertaining. There's some fun travel stories, some fun advice.
She's got some witty little quips.
Witty quips. It's a really fun interview.
Yeah.
I think y'all will really enjoy it.
If we had a theme for this episode, it would be like eat, pray, and love it, ?
how to try to eat, pray, and love it,
How to try, eat, pray, and love it. Yeah.
and how to know when your attempts are going to look great in a book when you can dust off all the dirty details.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So please enjoy. Welcome to Mary Pat and her mother, Patricia.
Yoo-hoo.
So for the part, can we call you Mummy?
You can call me Mommy, Patricia, whatever you want. Can I tell you now? Can I start now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Well, I had a boyfriend, and
It's great already.
and he was very handsome. He was a lot older than I am. He is 12 years older, and as fun as he was and good looking, he was so cheap, so cheap. But he didn't like the word cheap. He said, "I'm just frugal."
Oh God,
And-
frugal. That's the good one.
Yeah, and I remember one time he always said that he wanted to go back to San Francisco, that he had great memories of San Francisco. And anyways, I said, okay, let's go. He said, so, I have a friend, and she has an apartment. And I thought, well, maybe we could just crash. I said, you mean crash? You mean like sleeping in the sofa like a teenager? I mean, really. At the time I was 59 and he was whatever, 12 years older. I thought this is typical of him. And, things like those happen all the time. I remember also one time he was supposed to be trying to impress me on this one occasion. And he said, well, what place do you know that is just great? A great, great, great restaurant. So I took him to this fabulous restaurant that was expensive. And when the bill came, he said, well, I guess I'm going to help you pay for it. So all along, he had planned on me footing the entire bill, and just he was being nice at the end, and he was just going to, I don't know, maybe give the tip or something like that. I mean, things like those are, you just think, oh my God, what do they have in their heads? How can you be, how can you think that you are going to impress a woman of any age by doing, let's crash. Let's just, take somebody else's sofa or and let's go to this fancy place and you foot the bill though.
Did he have money?
Well, he was editor of the
Daily News.
Daily News.
He was an editor at the Daily News in New York.
Okay.
For a long time.
So
For
he
a
was
long
he,
time.
He had enough money. I mean, and he was in his 70s, so the guy could have foot the bill for a few things. But Jesus,
Crashing on a couch and
in your 70s.
I mean, I can do that at 30 now, only because I'm divorced and like in a carefree kind of state of life. But I feel like after the age of like 20, 25, if you're
it just absolutely no sense. Just the idea of this lack of comfort, whatever, lack of intimacy, lack of comfort. I mean, we are going to fly all the way from, let's say, either from New York, because he would come from New York to visit with me, or from Washington, where I live, to be that uncomfortable. I don't know. I mean, you guys are very young, but let me tell you, no, the answer is no way. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You are not that good of a company for me to sacrifice my, the comfort of my weekend by doing that.
Yes,
how was he as a lover? Was he lazy?
Very good. Very
He
good.
was very good.
Okay.
Very good.
I have to ask your mom this question. You traveled around.
I understand. I understand.
Have you had any torrid love affairs while traveling around at all?
No, I wouldn't say torrid. No. This guy, he was very good in that sense. He was very good. He was kind. He was passionate. He was tender. He had many good things. He had two lousy 30-year-old children who were never going to amount to anything. That was one thing that I mean, he could have been not cheap, and that still would have, would have been something that no, I don't want any of this.
That was a line drawn in the sand.
No, let me tell you, one time I owned an apartment in downtown DC. And he told me, this is one of the very last, days when I saw him. He said, you know what, my son, who was at the time 32 and he wasn't doing anything worth mentioning, he said, I think he could come here, live in your apartment, and you can come and live with me in New York.
Wow, what an offer.
Oh my God. So you mean I have to continue paying the monthly installments of, the upkeep of everything, so your worthless son can come live here in my apartment? No. It's amazing how, what do they have in their heads to, come up with something like that and think that is going to get them anywhere?
I don't know. That's some experience.
I mean, you must think that something like that had worked previously, maybe, or I don't know.
It's especially depressing to think that this is someone who's in his 70s, so he's had a lifetime of experience, and he's still pulling like moves that you see, like, from dating in your 20s and like 30s.
Yeah, the whole couch surfing scenario.
No, that you are not going to forget about the couch. I have never forgotten about the couch because I thought, oh, maybe it's my English. Maybe I didn't understand what he was saying. So probably I had him repeat that. And no, I had understood. That's exactly what he meant to say. Yeah.
Maria, do you have any experiences like that?
After a while, I gave up on the thought of dating, and I gave up on the idea of possibly meeting anyone that I could envision a life with. And I just literally, was doing living my life as I do. I'm a total weirdo. I don't really censor myself on social media. I limit my Instagram and my Facebook to literally to people who I actually give a shit about.
Right.
And that's all I care. I don't want to have the whole thing. And then I'll post, like, for a while I was traveling and going camping with an inflatable blow-up doll and taking.
I remember that. What was her name?
Yeah. Her name, well, she went through different iterations. So her first name was Wanda Sue. And then she exploded because I did a photo shoot with her in a forest and probably a pine needle popped her. So it was Wanda Sue and Laura Lynn or something like that. Like, it had different iterations.
That's awesome.
And I spent such a long time, literally I took a blow up doll to New York, took her camping, took her, we went to, remember, Mama, when we went to historic Williamsburg with the inflatable doll?
Yes.
Your mom did?
Yeah. Your father was furious.
Yeah. we took family photos with her.
You guys should do a whole Instagram account with that. You should bring it back.
It was a really it was really fun. For a while I was doing that. And honestly, I think it was just because I completely forgot about caring about dating and just started posting all this random stuff that, I don't know, then all of a sudden the person that I'm currently with reached out, and I know we'd met before and stuff, but he reached out and we ended up connecting. I remember one day I just saw this one person everything for the last I don't know, couple months, and then we just started dating and I don't know. I think honestly, that really was just an outcome of just me being myself and not really giving a shit about what anybody thought about it.
That's the most important thing. I think when you stop giving a shit, it's yourself. People are like, "What's that?"
Yeah, it's like honestly, if you're not gonna like the fact that I like to take selfies with an inflatable sex doll, then you're not gonna like me.
Exactly. That's you're not gonna like me. I'm gonna be myself.
I remember one time this restaurant in New Orleans, the one that goes round and round really slowly, but
the Carousel Bar.
Yeah. And you went there with the doll, and she was sitting next to you, and the guy, the barman said, "And what are you going to get, girl?" And she put a drink right in front of the doll, like we are all in the game. We are all in this fictitious world, fictitious everything. Okay, you want to believe that she's a friend. Okay, let's give it a drink. What the hell?
Was Wanda Sue dressed? Did you dress her up, or was she just?
Wanda Sue always had outfits, so she would, like bodysuits, and my friend Courtney, who we worked with, we would do photo shoots in the French Quarter with her. Like, I remember we did this whole series of mornings on Bourbon Street. So we got up super early and dragged Wanda Sue to Bourbon Street, at 5:30 in the morning, when the dregs of society are still at the cat's meow, drinking up spilled hand grenades on the bar top and licking up whatever slop is left. That's when we went out, and we were just let's go and take Wanda Sue and just have her be part of the scene. And Courtney took some amazing shots, early morning French Quarter, 5:30, fog is still out, and it's still just reeks of garbage. And that was fun. That's the type of stuff we do.
Splashing around a puddle of piss and I got lost hopes and dreams from the night before.
I mean, that's why I had to go through so many dolls, because after a while, you slap them around enough piss and anger. Yeah, it's hard.
So you had some funny stories that you were telling us about traveling around, perhaps meeting a male figure.
Yeah, well, I actually
might not have heard some of these stories, but
because I had a feeling that I thought I had told my mom about most of the stuff that I did when I was 20. I think I was 20, at 20, and I turned 21 when I was in Spain. I was traveling abroad, and I for some reason, I thought I had told my mom about all this stuff. We have a very open relationship about all, to the point where I'm very happy that we live on either side of the country, because we know so much about each other already that if we were to be neighbors, I feel like it would be just so claustrophobic. Sorry, mommy, but that's the truth. And I thought I had told her about this, but basically when I was 21, so I traveled to Spain, and I was part of this, this study abroad program. And I went to Sarah Lawrence, which is this tiny liberal arts college in upstate New York. I did not have a good experience there. It was I basically had one friend the whole time. Which is our life.
You're just so loser.
It's true. I think maybe now, if I were to go back to school with my mindset from now, maybe I'd have 4 friends, but it just wasn't the right place for me. And I just ended up going to Sarah Lawrence. So meaning by that, my dating life was zero. I did not meet anyone in school, and I spent 4 very sexless years. So when I went to Spain, I was adamant about just having sex with anything. Yeah. Trying. But then at the same time, I also, this whole time, my mother is the constant voice in my head. So every decision that I make, every time I get into a car and I've had maybe more than I need to drink, or any time that someone's offered drugs or anything like that to me, I've always said no, and I've always stayed away from a lot of things that are considered dangerous. Honestly, I think it's because of my mother. It's this voice in my head that's I know, Mari, don't do that. Don't put yourself in something.
My mom's dead, and she's in my head every single night in dreams. She's still there. She's the voice of reason.
Yeah.
It's this voice that doesn't shut down, and so I think that voice saved me in a lot of respects, because I was stupid. I went to Spain, and I had this thought that I'm going to go and I'm going to meet whoever I want, and I'm going to have sex and blah blah blah. And literally the only time that this opportunity ever came up, it was the tackiest experience ever. My friends, who were all American, we were in this American program. we went to basically what we considered like a classy bar in like on Bourbon Street. Like imagine like, you know, like going to Jean Lafitte's, you know, the blacksmith shop, the old historic, and being like, oh, this is a historic bar. Like that of
They're serving like frozen daiquiris and shit.
Yeah. And we're just like, oh, we're drinking sangria. We're so Spanish. And so we get there, and this one guy basically, you know, my friends are like, oh, he looks like George Clooney, who I guess this was in the early 2000s. So at that point, I guess he was, I don't know, famous. And my friends were like, oh, he looks, you know, like George Clooney. You should go and talk to him. And I did, and I immediately was like, man, this guy is very stupid, but he's attractive, so who cares, right? And he's like, why don't you come to my car and we listen to my CD disc, and I play to you flamenco music. And this is like 2003, so he had the compact disc player that was attached to a little cord that like yeah. And I was like, oh my god, I mean the music was great. I still to this day I try to find, like, I'm trying to remember what exactly it was like. It was a flamenco version of Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh. It was a flamenco version of it. It was so good. And I have not been able to find that song ever again. But anyways, so I hung out with him and I was like, oh, he's cute. And he's like, let me take you out again tomorrow. We go to a real Spanish place. And I'm like, oh, a real Spanish place. I wonder what that is. And the next day we go to the
and he's like, can you put the bell?
So we go to the real Spanish place, and it's just like it's like a neighborhood bar. It's like a just a regular neighborhood bar, but it's like fluorescent lights and there's trash all over the floor. And I'm like, this is not exotic. This is not what I had in my mind of what Spain should be. And whatever. I'm like 21 and stupid. And I was like, I don't know. This is like kind of, it was weird. It was like this tiny corner bar. It basically looked like a deli, but it was a bar, and there was fluorescent lights, and it was just all a bunch of old men, and they were watching a soccer game. And I was like, well, I mean, whatever. This is what it is, I guess. And he's like, well, it's good because it's not too expensive, so it's nice. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And he's like, why don't I take you to my house and I show you my place? And I'm sorry, Mama, you have to hear this.
No, I remember that.
Sorry, Mama.
I remember.
So fortunately, this guy was in his 30s. And I think this was another saving grace, aside from like my mom's voice, who was like, try to remember your location, text your location to your friends, all these things that my mother has always told me. I was also thinking like, okay, so this guy's in his 30s. An unmarried man in his 30s in Spain lives with his parents. That's a very common thing. And fortunately, he did live with his parents. We get to his apartment, and
so you're already like rationalizing it before
Yes, I'm literally thinking about all of this as I go into it. And I'm like, what are the chances of me getting assaulted? What are the chances of what? And it's so stupid that I'm putting myself in this situation, because I was nervous and anxious about it the whole time. I wasn't comfortable with it. But I decided that this is something that I wanted to explore. And I get to his apartment, and fortunately, like, I immediately see photos everywhere of his parents. And, at that point, his parents are like probably in their 50s. It's an older couple. And I'm like, thank God. So his parents are all over the place. Obviously, they live here. So if he tries anything, I have witnesses.
You can scream for him.
The likelihood of rape has gone down a little bit, right?
Yes. And it's so stupid that I'm putting myself in this situation. And, he leads me to his room, which is literally the size of a closet. His bed is underneath the space in the room where he hangs his clothes. He has a mattress underneath where he hangs his clothes. And this is the other thing that I think like really saved me, was that he was actually upfront about his motives. He pulls out this video camera. It's like one of those big, chunky video cameras from like the turn of the century. The ones that like had, the one with like the scope, the like periscope that you pull out. And he's like, well, now that you're here, I have my video camera and I take a video of you for my website. I have website here where I put my videos. I'm like, what? And he's like, let me show you my website. And again, this is 2003, and it's like GeoCities, whatever my first website. It like took forever to load, and the first thing that is as the screen is loading and he's showing me what his website is, the first thing I see is like a tit. And at that point, I was just like, I need to go.
And it's loading like super slowly, right? It's just
loading super slow. I remember like as the image was slowly appearing, it was a tit. And I was just like, and that's my cue. And I was just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to get out of here immediately because I cannot be on a porn site.
You mean you didn't want to be on a sexy home video porn site? I mean, what an honor.
I know. And I mean, like, there was no, I mean, at that point it was like, there was going to be no making this look beautiful at all. It was going to be me getting humped on underneath a rack of clothing.
Just raw footage of like mattress on the floor, clothing above you.
Yeah. His mom like popping in at some point, like, are you okay, son? Like,
be like, you want a sandwich? You hungry? Like, it was bad. And so I immediately, I was just like, I can't, I need to leave here immediately. And I was like, I'm sorry, I need to go home. And I ran out of the house. Unfortunately, like, and I have a lot of anxiety. I don't know. I just deal with a lot of anxiety normally with, my choices, and I build things up in my head. So my big fear at that moment was like, okay, so the night before when I first met him, he dropped me off at home. So he knows where I live.
That's a legit worry.
Yeah.
I was like, he knows where I live. So I need to get out of here. I need to leave Madrid for a few days and just like let this whole situation chill and have him forget about me. And I went home. Obviously, I was fine, thank God. And like the next day I was like, I'm going to pack up a bag and I'm going to go and I'm going to buy myself a bus ticket and leave Madrid for a few days and just give myself some space from this person, because this is really like, this is just so weird.
And never mind that you were there to study.
This is me doing my study abroad program. I learned a lot about life.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a ticket to go to northern Spain, this place called San Sebastian in Basque Country, which is like just one of my favorite places on earth. It's absolutely beautiful. Like this little medieval city on the coast. I remember forests, and there's an old city, and I got there and I was just like, cool, this is very far. I've got some space, and I get there and I don't know where I'm going to stay. And I just like look up like hostels. And the first place I found was like, well, we're not a hostel anymore. We're a retirement home. Fortunately, someone just died last night, so there's a room available.
Perfect.
And you can stay there. And I'm like, well, that sounds great. Perfect for me. And I ended up staying there, but unfortunately for me, just sort of the end note to the story was that the woman who owns the retirement home asked me to go on a date with her son, and he invited me out. He was very sweet, and he invited me out, and he was like, well, you should eat this hamburger with egg on it and cheese and all this stuff. And I'd never eaten a fried egg on a burger. That was such a foreign concept to me at that point. And I still find it absolutely revolting, the idea of a runny egg yolk on anything. Oh, makes me want to fucking puke.
I think it's delicious, but all God's children.
Oh. I'm sorry, even make me gag right now.
All right, I'm in the same boat.
So gross. But anyways, I ate it and then I vomited it outside after we left the restaurant.
Oh, did he hold your hair? He held your hair and you're like, this is love.
But that was literally my one attempt at dating.
I thought you were gonna say it ended in you like having like a sexual relationship with this dead ghost, this recent ghost that
No. I mean, the reality is I spent 4 very sexless years in college, and the one sad, feeble attempt that I made in Spain to try to find someone ended up with me vomiting on the sidewalk because I don't like runny egg yolk. And because I was running away from a creepo who wanted to put me on his weird porn site.
That's the most romantic story I think I've ever heard. The most romantic love story.
I know.
And now it's that time, y'all, for a fake ad.
It's very urgent. Crunchy chonies are a thing, and the leading detergents just can't cut it. When your undergarments crackle like spackle, there's only one laundry detergent on the market that can burn through those bodily secretions. When it's urgent, reach for detritus detergent. Watch those panty crusties burn away like witch magic. Mined from an undisclosed location in Eastern Europe, detritus detergent contains a powerful, secret compound.
Hello, I'm Sonyeska. I am from a small village in old Soviet Russia, and I have discovered a special formula to get rid of stain and odor when I realized it was melting the hair of my goat. In Soviet Russia, when you think your garments are clean, they are lies. We believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. Burn the dirt away. Specially developed to destroy uncleanliness while maintaining the integrity of your clothing fibers. Detritus detergent goes arm deep into filth and destroys it with the power of a nuclear bomb. Cleans away many substances. Protein stain, cabbage, stain from leftover beets, etc. Like the famous Captain Crunch commercial, if it stays crunchy even in milk, you need detritus detergent.
This product has not been approved by the FDA. May cause stomach upset, leaky bowels, suicidal ideation, and in rare cases, good alopecia. Phantom limps are reported in 30% of patients. Some people reported frequent night terrors involving tiny hand caresses. Common side effects include restless leg amnesia, waking up with an empty pickle jar, existential mirror staring, and dead butt.
So, if your undergarments are taking a beating, consult your doctor today and see if detritus detergent is right for you. Find it local hardware store for cheap price of firstborn child.
So reach for detritus detergent, the urgent detergent.
Hey y'all, so we wanted to tell you about another really cool podcast we feel like you should listen to. It's called Don't Wreck Yourself, and it's a podcast dedicated to uncovering kernels of truth embedded deep within the internet.
Every Tuesday, Matt and Ryan get to the bottom of spurious, weird, and downright absurd claims and questions.
You can find out why cartoon Garfield novelty phones have been washing ashore in France for 35 years, or why hellmeat inexplicably fell from clear Kentucky skies in 1876.
You can listen to Don't Wreck Yourself wherever you get your podcasts.
It's funny, we're kind of like making up for lost times. I remember my mom always being like, you should have like a lover in a different country. And so we went to Ecuador and we met some.
Well, we tried.
It got weird at some points.
Lauren found someone like who wanted to just like wash her feet and bathe her and live in her skin. And
at first it was like kind of romantic and nice. And then it just got to this point where I was like, get the fuck off me.
He just was very physical. I wanted
he fed me. He wanted to feed me all the time.
Yep. He wanted to care.
Really?
He introduced us to his parents at some point. Just on phone.
Yeah, we got a FaceTime introduction to his parents about 4 or 5 days after Lauren had met this man. He was in love and he loved Lauren very, very much.
It was after like 3 days.
It might have been 4.
Wow.
Sorry, 4 days.
At any rate, less than a week. And then it was the FaceTime, like, here, meet my mom and dad. And it's like, oh no. Oh, we sure don't want to.
Oh no.
Oh
After how many days did he want to like start washing your feet?
First day. He was a great lover. He was awesome in bed, but he was just he was Chilean.
Like my mama.
Like your mama.
Yeah.
He was granted, he was really, really nice. He was great.
He
Chloe
was
and I
very sweet, but he was just we were
like, we gotta
attentive.
Eat, pray, and love it. So let's try.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So we ended up inviting him to the Amazon jungle to accompany us.
Yeah, so Lauren and
which was helpful. But
we had very different experiences in terms of lovers in South America. Lauren met ones who, or like at least one who wanted to feed her and bathe her and live in her skin and introduce her to his parents. I met a 22-year-old baby stripper who wouldn't leave our hostel room the next morning. I wanted to talk literally in the midst of like a break of like our sexual activities. I made the mistake of asking if he had siblings, which was a poor choice on my part because then he pulls his phone out and is like, let me show you my family. Let me tell you all about my mother, who's 56, who's this wonderful woman. And I'm just going, I am naked in bed next to you. I just found out 15 minutes ago that you were 22, which is usually a little under my age range. So this isn't weird at all. And then another one who was like this cool canyoning, rock climbing guide.
He was charming.
He was charming. But once we went to the Amazon jungle with him and then with Lauren's much more attentive lover, he lost all interest in me. And on the last day, he was like, "Oh, I have a gift for you." And so I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm excited." So we'd been staying in the same room, but every night he'd made a point to tell me, "I think it's a good night to sleep." So I'm just thinking, okay, I'm getting signals. It's fine. We're not going to bang again. All God's children. But then this last morning, he's like, "I have a gift." So he pulls out not one, but 2 magnets. And Banos in Ecuador, they're known for they have this leprechaun lore, which is kind of cool.
It looks like I almost said Lord of the Flies, but it doesn't. It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God.
But it's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Insanely
it's
beautiful.
So wonderful.
Yeah, it's in the Andes Mountains.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
But this guy pulls out 2 magnets with little leprechauns on them, and he spends probably 30 seconds looking at them and then decides which one to give me. And 2 magnets. One has this troll-looking leprechaun sitting on a mushroom with this massive nose, smoking on a pipe. So he gives me that one. And then 20 minutes later, he gives my good friend Lauren the one of the cute, perky little elfish-looking gnome, in her little dress and her cute little hair, sitting on a mushroom. I was like, great. So this is my nightmare.
You're like, thank you.
So sweet. And then the last night we were in Banos, once we got back from the jungle, he spent the entire night trying to hit on Lauren and just get her to dance with him. I was like, oh.
So that was
my God.
Meanwhile, what does it mean that the guy wanted to live in your skin?
It just means he was just very, which I hate. I hate it. I need space. I need space. And he was just, I have to have space or I get
very
crazy.
Touchy-feely.
So she's laughing her ass off the whole time. We're on a bus getting back. And he's just
petting her face and kissing on her and oh, Lauren.
And I'm just like, fuck, dude, get off me.
Lauren, I love you so much. And I'm like, he's over here getting bad magnets. You're getting, felt up on a bus.
Yeah. He was very nice. With that being said, Patricia, I feel like you have some stories like that.
I was so dumb. I married when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
I was 23. And I remember that I met a guy when my ex-husband and I were in Indonesia the first time. I met someone that was older. By then, I must have been maybe 25, and this other guy maybe 10 years older than I was, and he was very nice. He was a gentleman. He was very well educated, and he was super nice. And I remember that I had noticed, how he looked at me and how pleasant he was. And one day he said, guys, why don't I take you both to have dinner in Jakarta? There is a very nice Italian restaurant close to the river, and it's very nice. I thought that sounded great. And we got there, and, it was the 3 of us, and all the niceties. I mean, the bottle of wine, the place was just amazing. And I remember this guy, he said, "You are so lucky, Chris. I hope you realize how fortunate you are. She is beautiful. She is fun. I mean, wow, some men just have it all." Something like that. Really, really nice. And my husband said, "Oh, you haven't really seen her. She has a missing tooth way in the back of her mouth."
Oh my God.
And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I had lost a tooth way in the back of my mouth years before, and you couldn't even see it. I mean, I can smile and laugh, and you don't see it. But that kind of meanness.
That sounds like he doesn't want you to feel special or.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that happened and you just never forget. I remember him pointing at my mouth and my face, and it's like all the pleasantries that had taken place before, it kind of, they dissipated, and it's like the food didn't taste good anymore, the wine didn't taste good anymore. It was everything was, oh my God, I'm not special. Yeah, I'm not. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. Obviously, he doesn't think I am special. So, and
Mama.
men do things like those.
I mean, I clearly remember moments like that with people I've dated before that say things like, that I will remember forever. That's just like a cut down. Like when you're feeling good, it was a cut down, like immediately.
Bring you down. Let me show you that you are not really that special. Let me show you. He might think you are very special, but let me tell you, this is the real thing. And we need to be aware of those things. We women at any age, we need to be aware of those things and say, do I really want to hear any more of this? Do I deserve to be put down in this very mean way? Especially when you are very young, those things are, more, they hit you worse.
Yeah.
They hit you really badly. Yes. And you just don't forget that kind of thing.
I think the reason I left my husband was, it was over a lot of things, but the last conversation we had was we were at breakfast and we were talking about my car, and he was telling me how he thought that we should sell my car and buy some other vehicle or whatever. And I was just trying to explain how, like, no, I don't want to sell my car. Like, I spent a lot of time in there. I do a lot of driving. Like, it's, it's a place I hang out a lot. And he just looked at me and goes, yeah, that's why it's so trashy, like you.
Oh boy.
And I turned away and I teared up. And usually I would just let it ride, like, just, like a duck, water off the back. But this time I was like, why would you say something like that? That's really mean. And he just had no response for it. Yeah, it's the little comments like that are just cruel for no reason.
Because he obviously did want to hurt you, because later on you're crazy letters. And he was like, I'm just insecure and that's why I was being mean to you.
Well, I'm sorry you're a monster, but don't be a monster at me anymore.
Not hard to be nice to people.
Yeah, but those are things that we women need to learn.
Absolutely.
And not put up with that kind of thing, because and when you put up with this little thing and then it gets a little bigger and it comes a point when it's almost like, yeah, of course I deserve it, or why wouldn't he treat me like that? I mean, after all, he's the one putting food on the table, or a roof over our heads, or whatever. It doesn't matter how fancy the roof is over your head or the clothes on your back. You still need to love yourself, protect yourself, and don't take any crap from anybody. Don't take it.
Yes,
I mean, I've gotten to that point in my life right now where I don't want a relationship. I've finally realized the red flags, and I'm like, I just want to be happy with myself, and I am good with that. But I'm not putting up with any more shit. Any more shit.
I can't say enough for really, really, really spending some time. Like, and it's different from, like if you want to, sleep with a guy or person, whatever, it's fine. But I really think that there's nothing more important and valuable than the time spent just being alone.
And being yourself and
just being yourself in that space. Exactly. Just like exploring the things that make you laugh and make you enjoy life. Like, for me, it's the blow-up dolls or the weird art, or even writing like little stories. It's all that stuff that makes me me and makes me feel good in my own skin. And if the person that I'm with can't deal with that, then they're not worth it. Like, because that's me.
Leave, because I'm not changing. Like I've spent so much. I feel like I spent most of my life kind of measuring my worth based off of people I was dating. Like you're only as good as the person that you're with. And I finally got that point where I'm just like, I'm fucking weird. Like I'm gonna write weird like you. Like I'm gonna do weird things, and that's just the way I am, and that's what makes me me. And if you don't like it, like, bye.
Yeah. The older I get, the more I am convinced in love, you have to start with yourself. You have got to start with yourself. The moment you don't love yourself, you are going to be a magnet for all these losers, all these guys that are not going to appreciate you, because there is something in the behavior, in the way you walk, in the way you dress, in the way you look at someone. All of that is shown when you are self-assured, when you know who you are, and when you love yourself.
You're such a smart lady.
God,
that's fabulous.
My God,
she's amazing.
Like I spend every day thinking, like, I know that I shouldn't spend my time thinking about like the day that my mom's no longer here, but I do worry about that day. And I saved every voicemail that my mom leaves me. I don't listen to them now because I hate listening to voicemails. but my voicemail inbox in my phone is choked with her messages for the day that I can no longer talk to her. And
I kept some of my mom's voicemails. My mom and I are really close. But when she passed away, I kept all and I would listen to them. And I lost them. I accidentally lost them. So it makes me sad. Yeah. But that being said, she's in my dreams every single night. Every night she's with me. I had like I said, not haunting, a visit from her the other day. But moms are so important. Patricia, have you heard of the Sugar Shack outside of Chicago?
The what?
It's called the Sugar Shack. It's all male. Well, it's not all male. The upstairs is a male strip club, and it's full frontal.
Oh, really?
Full naked.
We went there.
Oh, you did?
It was amazing.
It was hilarious.
Oh my God! Sounds good.
Maria
and I went to one when she turned 18. She said, "This is what I want, Mom. I want to go to see these guys." What's the name of that place?
I don't remember. It was
your mom went?
Yeah, when I turned 18. We were living in Brazil.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
And you know what? One of her best friends was a Mormon girl in and you know, I don't know what your religion is, guys, but you know, Mormon people are very, you know,
conservative.
Everything is no tea, is no coffee, no, you know, everything is some kind of prohibition.
It's amazing to me that she was willing to go to a strip club with us.
Seriously.
She wanted it. And I told her, you know what, if you tell, I'm going to be in such a big trouble with the school, with your parents. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. She said, I'll never tell. And she never did.
Good for her.
Yeah. I remember at one point. I remember at one point that night, I was getting a little bored of all the dong, and I
have
a question. So it was full frontal.
I don't know, Mama.
They had their little thing. I mean,
yeah, I think these are.
Yeah, they have, and I think that with a little bit, it's far sexier than completely naked.
Yes,
I mean, penises are not good to look at.
Yes,
and they look great. They have beautiful, beautiful bodies. All of them.
God, especially in Brazil.
Oh yeah, beautiful, great looking guys. Yeah.
At one point that night, I like turned to my friend. It was like me and my mom and Adrian, my friend who was Mormon, and our friend Sunny. I think there was one other person there. And at one point, I turned to Sunny. I'm like, "Have you seen my mom and Adrian? Like, where are they?" And I remember this clearly, looking down at the stage. And we were on the balcony and looking down on the stage, and my mom and Adrian are on the stage, like, you know, dancing up against like two strippers.
Yeah.
Do you guys have pictures?
I wish. Why didn't we take pictures of that, Mamita?
No, unfortunately, we didn't.
Yeah, when I was in Spain, we went to this like erotic restaurant that was also like part strip show. Like male strip show, and I remember I got pulled up onto the stage by this guy dressed up as a Zorro, and so he was going to give me a lap dance.
Yeah,
and so he's like giving me a lap dance, and like, you know, he's wrapping me up in his cape, and then like underneath his cape he whispers to me in Spanish, "Sácame la tanga," take off my thong. And and I'm underneath this cape, and I'm like, oh God, like he's like everything that I find repulsive in that kind of man. Like, he's, you know, wonderful body, but like, you know, fake tan, so he's orange, he's kind of oily, he's hairless, like, oh. and so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to take off your thong. And I remember looping my fingers around this like tacky thong, like slowly pulling it down and trying to keep my face as far away from his penis as possible. all of this underneath his cape, because I'm sitting down and his dick is literally right in front of my face.
It's about to just smack you in the nose.
And I'm just like, oh, I just need to keep my face as far away from it as possible. So I'm like taking his thong off, and it like falls down. And he's Zorro, so he's wearing spurs. The thong gets tangled in his spurs, and he trips.
I mean, that's the sexy thing to me. I want to see that.
which like saved me, because I was like, cool, he's tripping, he's falling over, so I'm gonna run away from here.
It's an escape route.
Yeah. But then the next woman that he pulled up to go to do the sexy dance with, I don't know what he did to the poor woman, but she like escaped from his creepy cave of cape and like desperately wiping her mouth. So I don't know if he tried to press his penis into her mouth. I don't know what was happening, but she ran out from underneath that cape, like rubbing her lips,
dark things happened under that cape.
Really dark things could have happened underneath that cape. But fortunately, in my case, his thong got stuck in his spurs.
Thank God escape route. Damn, this is.
Y'all are the best.
You guys are so much fun. It has been great talking to you.
No, it's been awesome.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
You guys take care.
You too.
Take care and treat yourselves lovingly like you deserve.
Oh, Mary, Pat, and Patricia.
Holy shit, what a great interview.
Dude, I love a daughter-mom duo.
And they are both so funny and so articulate and so witty.
Tell raunchy stories and laugh. That's fucking awesome. Oh my God. Wanda Sue tried to bring her back, the blow-up doll.
We did try to bring the blow-up doll back, but
we went to a dirty store.
The local adult store?
Local adult store called Castles. It's like the elitist one. I asked for a blow-up doll, and the guy looked at me, he like scoffed. He was like, "We're out of those."
Apparently it's the high season for blow up dolls.
Yeah, I made a joke. I was like, "Oh, it must be that time of the year, huh?" And he was like, "I guess. But you can look at Spencer's in the mall."
Jeez, how condescending.
And I was like, "Oh, how dare you?
How dare you?
I'll just buy these dick candies for her dick pinata that I bought for her birthday."
But all in all, good times. But so next week, we've got an interview with our pal Tony. Chicago Tony. He's a bartender at a cool-ass dive bar in Chicago. And
called Richards. Go there. Go there.
Go to Richards. It's phenomenal.
Ask for Tony. He wrote a book.
He wrote 2 books.
He wrote 2 books.
Are arriving tomorrow. I'm really excited to read them.
We're going to read them. But we had a really great Zoom interview with him. He's amazing. He's hilarious.
He's delightful. We love him.
And I'm really excited about this because I showed my dad that interview and he was super excited.
Hell yeah. So thanks for listening. Please subscribe, follow, do all the things on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on.
Please subscribe, email, download, tell all your friends about
follow
us.
On Instagram. If you have a cool idea for a fake ad,
if you have a cool idea,
write in.
Yes, write in.
We may feature yours.
We will feature it. Do all the things. We're working on our website. We just got on the TikToks and the Facebooks and what else are we on?
And we're
in a learning curve.
Unveiling ourselves as elder millennials, and you know what? We're not mad about it. So
horror was banned. The word horror was banned on.
It was weird to me that it was banned on Facebook and TikTok, but Instagram was fine with it. So if you're looking for us on Instagram, look for horror. The Whores and Rim Sex with a 0 instead of an O in the horror.
Not on Instagram, on the
Oh, sorry, the Facebook,
TikToks and stuff. Yeah, fuck. Keep an eye out for us.
Just fucking follow us.
Just fucking follow us,
Jesus
please.
Christ.
Tell everybody about us.
If you think we're cool, fucking follow us.
Yeah.
We love you all so much.
We love you.
We want to produce good content for you, so help us make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yoo-hoo.